Welcome back to another episode of the Aussie Gamers Experience podcast. I'm your host, Snoogs, and joining me on deck tonight is my vigilant co-hosts, Grejio and Lucas, helping us through the top news and gaming stories from the week. So sit back, relax, and get ready for episode 312.
Whoa, this is the Aussie Gamers Experience podcast, the show with irreverent live listeners, raging hosts, and eventually conversation about the best and the worst of the video games industry. So, all that you're required to do now is to pick up your poison of choice. Expect the best, but prepare for the worst, and above all, enjoy the show.
Thanks, everyone, for joining in. Before we get started, Lucas, how you travelling, mate? Welcome back for this week.
Thank you very much. It's been, what is it, 2 weeks, or did I do the week before last? I can't remember now.
2 weeks.
They're all two weeks, yeah.
Has been 2 weeks. Well, I'm back, and I'm good, thank you.
Oh, good to hear. Grejio, how about yourself, mates?
Yeah, no, good weekend, good start to the week. So yeah,
it's been a fun week this past week. Lots of things to talk about. So before we do though, g'day to everyone in the chat. We've got Azrael, Mudikins, Radicus, and the Wraith chatting along live with us. Don't forget, if you want to come in and listen live and have a bit of a chat and a bit of fun, don't forget to come on over and hit up our Discord. Links as always down below. All right, let's jump into the show, shall we? I've got a bit in store as always. We have details on the Avengers beta. Microsoft has gone and thrown its 2 cents in. So much DC goodness. I've had a go of the Download and Crash Simulator 2020. And maybe of other few games as well. So let's get into it, shall we, boys?
Let's do it.
All right. Games that we are currently playing.
Oh, you're not doing This Week in Game?
No, because I have updated my PC and I have lost all of my stuff. And I could not for the life of me remember where I was pulling all the information from, so I will get there soon.
Ah, well, let's go with This Week in Gaming is Marvel Avengers. We'll go with 2020.
All right, well, we might as well kick it off with Marvel Avengers, mate. So,
yep.
Luke, you've been having a go at the beta. A few of the guys in chat had a crack as well. So let us know your thoughts, man.
All right, well, now, look, you guys had some issues last week. Well, I know Wraithy and A10 and all that had some trouble trying to get into the beta in the closed beta. You guys had codes for it and I was away. But it seems like all of those issues were fixed because I don't think anyone had any troubles trying to play it this weekend, except for I had, maybe 4 different situations where the game just crashed.
Yeah.
Look, I'm thinking the game's just not optimized properly yet and has a few bugs that are causing it to crash. But ignoring that, put that aside, I think the game looks brilliant and it plays great and the characters in it are really cool. There is a few things that people aren't finding too attractive where the characters don't exactly look, well, they don't have the likeness of the actual movie stars, which is probably a licensing thing. The voices aren't there either. They're a little bit strange. But I don't mind that. I'm not minding it. But the actual gameplay itself, and I remember when I was playing the first part, like the intro, where it's a bit of a tutorial and also like an action-packed sequence sort of thing. That's nothing like what the rest of the game is, and I thought that would be the case. Because the action sequence is very much like a linear action-style game. But that's just that first sequence. Once you get through that, which probably takes a good hour or maybe even more. But once you get through that, it feels like Destiny. It's a Destiny-style game where you'll go into... It's not a full open world, but it feels like, how Destiny has the different planets you go to?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's kind of what I found Avengers to be like, where you'll go to certain areas and it's a big open world, but it's sectioned off for the different levels and all that sort of stuff. And you'll have a mission to do in this level, but there's all other things. There's collectibles, there's all like side missions, there's probably multiple missions that are going to be in the same hub sort of map. And the best way of describing it is it is a third-person Destiny with Marvel characters, and you level up and you get better gear and your abilities get stronger and rinse and repeat. And I love it. It's a good recipe. I've played Hulk and Kamala Khan the most of the time, but you can actually have a go using Iron Man and Black Widow and Thor and all that. So I think it's a great game. The graphics look fantastic. I've been playing it on PC, and I can't wait for it to come out. I think it's fantastic. I love it. What do you guys think?
I'll jump in. Well, I'll jump in first because I spoke. Can you pick who you play as? Because I'm a big Marvel fan, but I know nothing about Kamala Khan. And,
yeah,
it's one of those things where if I'm playing a Marvel game, I want to play with the characters I know. So is that...
Yeah, well I think the idea of it is kind of like you have your different classes in Destiny. You've got the three, you've got the Hunter and the
Titan.
Wizardy one and the Titan. Yeah,
And
I can't remember their names.
Yeah.
Warlock, yeah. Well, it's kind of like that, and they will have different levels. So if you play mostly as Iron Man, he will level up, where the rest of them don't know exactly if they will be like Pokemon and slowly level up with you if you choose them as your companion, because you can go into missions with companions. I'm not sure if they'll level up as well, but because they haven't in the beta. So I've played mostly as Hulk, and he's level 11 for me. But Black Widow and Iron Man are still level 0. So if you play as one, you'll level that one up. And then I think there is going to be level specific missions for a particular character. So there may be missions that you have to do with individual characters. So yes, you can choose who you want to play as, but I think it will funnel you down into particular characters if you want to do other missions. So some missions may lock you to a certain character. I think that's how that works.
Yeah, well, that would make sense. There was a big push about Camilla having a big portion of this game around her. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. Greg, anything from you, mate?
No, I think you guys have covered it. I don't have any specific questions. It looks, like I said, it looks good. It looks like it's a bunch of fun. So
did you try it? Because
I haven't tried it. No, I haven't tried it. Okay. I was too busy playing my game of the week this week. So
fair enough. But yeah, look, I think it's gonna be some bring some good things. I'm really looking forward to it. So if you didn't get a chance to try the beta, tough. You're gonna have to buy it.
It's finished now.
It's done.
Yeah. Well, it probably is still going for another 20 minutes.
Yeah, about that. It finishes tonight. The one thing I didn't really like I've only played, I've watched a few people playing it, and what you and I tried out last night with setting up the PC, Thor's voice. Now, there's been a lot of things saying about the characters and the voice characters being different from the movies. That's always going to happen. One thing I find about Thor is he's a little bit too Nordic god.
I would describe his voice as kind of cartoony, over the top superhero.
Yeah.
Never fear, I am here. That kind of over the top sort of enunciation of words, and the jokes that he's had early on, they're pretty lame. I would say Thor's voice is probably the weakest out of the lot of them, and I don't know who his voice is, but you've got other big actors, like you've got Nolan North as Iron Man, and Troy Baker is Bruce Banner. So I actually really like them. I think they do really well.
Yeah.
And there's also Black Widow is what's her name? Oh,
isn't that
she's another naughty dog.
Okay. I'm not sure.
She played Nadine Ross from Uncharted. She was also Laura Bailey. Thanks, Martikins. Yeah, Laura Bailey is the voice of Black Widow. So she's another one. I actually really like her voice in it. But yeah, Thor just seems out of place. Like he's just. But anyway.
Yeah, he seemed to be a little too cartoony. Everything I've seen of him.
Yeah. But I'm imagining that's the direction that he was sort of given. That's what they wanted. But
yeah.
That won't harm it for me. I think I'll get used to it, and I'll be like, yeah, this game's cool.
All right, cool. So that's only a couple of weeks out from actually releasing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, cool. Grejio, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah. How good is this game? Like, straight up. That's,
You're into it?
I totally. I'm
See,
hook, line, and sinker.
I don't think it's bad, but I couldn't get into it. So tell me, what are you loving about it?
All right. So I can see what people had a problem with. I'm not completely blind to those things. But for me, I don't know what it is. They're not game breaking for me at all. Like the camera, I haven't had a problem with it. Maybe I went into it knowing it was going to be a problem, like it was going to be what it was, and I've either just unconsciously adjusted for it, or I'm just used to that type of camera. I'm trying to think of another game that would have a similar style of camera,
Yeah.
but
The issue with the camera that I had is that objects would get in between the camera and the action, and I would often struggle and have to quickly move it so I could see where the enemy was.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, I mean, when I think about it, generally, for the most part, I've been in pretty open areas whenever I've been in combat. I don't.
Well, that's the thing. It's an open world game, so you may not have encountered any of the, or been in different positions in the fights that we've both encountered. It could be played out completely different. So you've probably just had a better run. Yeah.
I mean, I know of one time I fought in one of the huts. I kind of got caught in a battle of that. But that's probably it's once out of the entire time I've been playing. So I'm kind of like it's not, like I said, it wasn't enough for me to go, oh well, this sucks, you know. But the game is beautiful. Like it's just a treat for the senses. It looks fabulous, and the sounds. I can't actually get over how much I'm enjoying the sounds of this game. Like, there's just so many things that I just sit there and I hear it, and it just makes me smile. So every time you collect the bamboo, it's got that, I want to call it a bamboo noise, but it's not really a bamboo noise. It's just now what I've associated with bamboo noise. But the closest thing I can get to it, it's like, you know, those Japanese water features that rock back and forth and they fill up and close, like the drinking bird kind of thing. And it just fills up and then it goes clunk, clunk, clunk. And then clunk, clunk, clunk. It's a single one of those clonks every time you collect it. I don't know. There's something that brings me great joy about hearing that sound. It just speaks to me. I don't know what it is. I'm enjoying the combat. I actually really, I feel like a badass. I feel cool. Everything about there's just a bunch of things that just make, I feel like it just fills me up with joy every time I play it. I don't know how else to explain it. But yeah, I just, like I said, I can see the faults. Like, I can see some of the animations aren't perfect. Some of the facial capture sort of motion is a bit meh, especially in the beginning. But I've almost come to just like ignore that stuff because of how much I'm just enjoying the gameplay itself and the combat and just sort of walking around. It's not a world that we're used to exploring in these kinds of games. So it's just something fresh. And the color palette is just amazing. I love the symbolism of color in this game, which was always going to be a thing. The pathfinding is interesting. You know, they made this big deal out of there wasn't going to be any sort of waypoints or stuff like that, and just you following that wind. I guess it's a kind of cheaty way of saying that there's no. It's not as intuitive as they thought. That like it's not as subtle, I think, is what they initially sort of made it out to be. The wind is quite. It's
pretty
quite
obvious,
out there. It's pretty obvious.
I think it is a little bit like it's a better idea than having a blatant arrow or a point telling you go this way. So I like that. Like, I like it when games like this, so like they think outside the square when it comes to directing where to go. Like in a linear game, it's a little bit easier, but even a linear game that sort of has multiple paths that and some lead to dead ends, you kind of, the design, it's sort of, you still go the right way.
Yeah.
And that's annoying as a gamer because you want to go the wrong way first to see if there's a collectible or ammo or something. Yeah. But a game like this, and another example is, I think it was not Drive Club. What was that open world one, the racing game? The Crew?
Yep.
The Crew.
Where instead of having the line like Forza on the road, it was up high off the road. So
right.
you could still watch the
right.
you could still watch the road as you were going without any of these weird things that aren't realistic. But then above you in the sky had your direction on where to go. So it wasn't sort of in your face. And I like that. And this game takes that and makes it even more integrated by following the wind and the way that the leaves go. And then if there's collectibles, you're following the animals and all that sort of stuff. Absolutely brilliant. But when I say that I don't really like the game, it's not really the game's fault, because it is a great game as a package and it does look great if you take a step back and look at it like that. But if you get a microscope and have a little bit of a closer look at things, it starts to break down, where the footholds and the handholds on the side of mountains are just tacked on the side of almost a flat texture. So the rocks don't look natural at all. They look like they're just placed there specifically so you can jump on them, which is out of date. Because if you look at games that kind of put it to shame, like Assassin's Creed and Uncharted, this game should be better than that. It's newer than all of those games, but that's just one thing. Then you get too close and personal with some of the grass and the foliage, and it doesn't look that fancy at all. You've got to take a step back, and because I've had a look at, in photo mode, and some of the angles you get, and you're just like, oh, that looks terrible.
I've been using photo mode to have a look at a few things. It's like, oh yeah, this is beautiful, and then you move the camera, a couple of pixels to the right, and it's ugh.
Oh yeah, that doesn't look that great. But look, and it's all those little things. Like some of the animations are just really poorly executed. That sort of hits the tarnish a little bit. And then another thing as well, on the PlayStation 4 Pro, I couldn't really get the game running well. Look, I can't stand the slowdowns. I can't stand the frame rates. I think you can change it, can't you, to a performance mode versus a resolution mode?
I think so.
It's all it is. I don't think it doesn't give you 60 frames. I think it just ensures a solid 30 or something like that if you drop the resolution. And I didn't like it. But that's a tiny thing towards me not liking it. Because I do like the game. I don't have no motivation to play it, because there's nothing in that game that's going, play me. The story, I feel like, is like a little bit samey.
To be fair, it's probably one of the few gripes I have about the game. It's because I hate that I get the feeling like there was this idea that there should have been some sort of fluidity to the story and how you play it. I think that might have been the grandiose idea back when they were talking about how they're going to make this game, and it's sort of filtered down there. But the story is now very linear. There's no real choice between where your honor is going. It's going in one direction, whether you like it or not. Like I enjoy playing with honor way too much in this game. I could not give two shits about the stealth in this game. I will literally just announce myself every time just so I can have honorable one straight on head on battles, because they're just so much more fun than bouncing around in the shadows. But it doesn't matter, because like every cutscene is more about talking about how I'm slowly losing my honor. I'm just like, fuck it.
Oh yeah, it'll funnel you down there. But the thing that I didn't like story wise is that your character, whatever his name is, I can't remember now, but he's like, oh no, honor, I am all about honor. And then you're with this girl who's like, yeah, but we can't do it. It's going to be too hard if we do it that way. And he's like, okay, don't worry about the honor. He just gives up the honor straight away.
Does. He's all like, you need to die for honor. And then she's like, but this is the only way. And he's like, all right, I guess so.
Okay. I'm like, wow, these are like the best salesperson ever, or he is just a massive pushover.
Yeah. Every time I
my entire life with honor, but okay.
Every time I see her, I'm just going like, I said, Rem is watching because she wants to watch the game. And every time I come into her, I say, hey, look, here comes my girlfriend. She goes, it's not your girlfriend. I said, literally, have a look at how this is playing out. She's my girlfriend. Like, she takes no effort at all to convince me. Yeah. The only time she finds any interest is like when she's like, hey, you should buy me a drink one day. I'm just like, God, see, she asked me out on a date. This is strictly my girlfriend.
Oh dear. But yeah, look, it's a great game and some people will absolutely love it, but I don't know, I can't stomach it. There's not enough in there. And I was really excited for this game because I love Japanese law. It's not something that I've completely written off, just for now.
Yeah.
One day.
No, like I said, I'm not blind. I'm not blind to its faults. I guess I'm just not looking at it with that same microscope because I want to like this game. So there's probably a little bit of bias in that. But yeah, I look, I'm just enjoying it. It's just something fresh and new and different from all the other games that I've been playing. So
mate, I'm enjoying the fact that I'm having a discussion with you about something other than Forza and Minecraft. So I'm all for it, mate. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Let's go to the next big release that we've had this past week, the Download and Crash Simulator of 2020. Also known as Microsoft Flight Sim.
Yep. Fantastic game. I have crashed so many times in that game, but not my aeroplane.
Without even being in a plane?
Yeah. Just the game crashing. Oh, my God. just too many crashes. I don't know. Maybe hang on a minute. Maybe I'm the common denominator here. I had Avengers crash a couple of times. Flight Simulator crashes a few times.
I know what you're trying to do.
Maybe I've overclocked heaps of shit, and maybe that's why it's crashing. But then no other games are crashing, mind you.
It's due for an upgrade.
I need an upgrade. Rachel, everything's crashing. My computer's broken.
I saw you in a PC shop yesterday. You have to put your hands in your pockets while you're sweating.
Yeah, I know. I was getting uncomfortable, and there was some issues at the checkout, which was taking a little bit longer than necessary or than normal. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, fucking hurry up, man, pay for your shit, let's get out of here because I'm about to spend $3,000. Let's go.
So yes, Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 has released. It took absolutely forever to download. There's been a whole lot of issues around that download because once you actually boot up the game, it then had to download some more, and that was being classified as playtime for those who purchased it on Steam. And
really?
When they couldn't get into the game,
they can't get a refund.
They couldn't get a refund for it. So
no, that's not right.
That's one issue in itself.
Because you can only get a refund if you've played the game less than a certain time. But if it takes 40 hours, 2 hours, but if it takes 40 hours to do the update and then you get into it and it keeps crashing and all that sort of shit and you don't like how it works, you can't refund it. That's not right. They need to change something with that.
There is things going on in the background for that. There's been a big blow up about it. So I dare say that will change. But I kind of wanted to start this off with a bit of a public service announcement for Flight Sim.
Sure.
Listen to the name, people. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. This is not a game. It is a flight simulator. So don't think you're going to get into a jet and do barrel rolls and do all this weird sort of stuff because it's just not going to happen. And it's going to feel very overwhelming to a lot of people. So don't be shocked or don't be too proud to turn everything onto easy mode. So you turn all your assists on and then just go and enjoy flying the plane because really it is a technical marvel. Once you actually work out.
Get in plane, press autopilot, walk away from your computer, come back in 5 minutes, enjoy the scenery. And that's how you do Flight Simulator.
This has been described, and as the best way to describe this is it is not a game. It is a simulator. Yes. But the biggest problem is, I think, is that there are a lot of simulator games out there that sort of like they use the word simulator as they just use it flippantly, mode. Really. Like, Surgeon Simulator. Like, that's just a dick around game, Goat Simulator. There's so many simulator games out there that are games and they're for fun, but this is not that. This is a fully fledged flying simulator. So, if you get into a Cessna and have all the assists on, you're going to have a decent time. It's not going to be too hard because they're not really, in the scope of things for pilots, they're quite easy to fly. So with the assists on, it's easy to fly in the game. But same thing goes if you jump into a Boeing 747 or something like that, that's not going to be easy because they're hard for actual pilots. There's a lot of shit going on. My first experience with it, I was just in a Cessna, and I couldn't get off the ground. I had the throttle on full. It was revving its tits off. I turned the handbrake off with the assistance of Radicus. Thank you for your help. He Googled what buttons to press, but it still wouldn't move. And I'm convinced that it was bugged out. That's why it wasn't going anywhere, because Snoogs the following night gives me a hand, tells me what to do, goes through the settings, put all this on, blah, 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 and then assists me on takeoff. And I took off, and I was like mind blown. I'm like, oh my God, I'm flying. I actually called out to my wife and my kid. I'm like, come and check this out. I'm flying. And I flew around, and it was actually reasonable. Like, it wasn't too hard to do. I've still got to learn how to do the trimming and all that sort of stuff to get the thing to fly straight without input from the joystick. But I had good fun. I flew it over my own house and flew it over some, local landmarks around, and it was good fun. The only thing is, I tried it again the next day, and the game takes like 20 minutes to load, even off an SSD, and it crashed when I got it. Like, I hadn't even taken off and the game crashed. Mm-hmm. It's sort of a little bit touch and go, so I think it's still a little buggy, but all in all though, good fun if you can get it working.
Yeah, once you actually get flying, it's pretty amazing just what you can see and what you can do. Like, this is a way to view the world, and with everything going on in the world at the moment, it's actually a really good time to bring it out and for people to give it a go. We found there's a local airport that none of us knew about. A couple actually. Airports. Yeah, so there's some little airports where Lucas, myself, and A10 jumped in and all played it at the same time. You can get in the same.
A10 tries to take off of a tiny airport in a 747 or something.
Yeah.
Or no, it was an A380, I think.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, though, it wouldn't actually let him. Like, it just, halfway down the runway, it just shut the plane off on him.
Yeah, that's probably one of the safety features in the plane. If you run out of runway, it'll probably shut down.
Yeah, so it was really amazing, like that sort of level of detail. And I don't think he had a few of the assists turned on, because he actually had to go and turn on the fuel pump, charge the engines, get the engines turned on and warmed up. So he actually took quite a bit of time to get this the Airbus going.
Yeah, I don't think the assists go that far in that kind of plane.
No, they do. You can just get in it and fly it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've not tried.
So I've tried with the Learjet, and I haven't tried with the big jumbo, but the I think it's the airliner, the next size down. But,
Radicus is asking, could you fly together? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we were in the same server. We could see each other, yeah. I was actually quite privy, had front row seats to Snoogs flipping it upside down and crashing face first into the ground.
A couple of times, actually.
Yeah.
Because I'd gone from flying a jet that had very lazy controls to flying a prop plane with very twitchy controls, and ended up going over the top. But yeah, I've done the same thing. I've flown out over the house. I've shown the kids. I landed in the water at Warragamba Dam. I wasn't supposed to. I just did because I can.
Was it a seaplane?
No, it wasn't a seaplane.
Oh. So you crashed into the water?
No, I actually bounced it into it. Oh. So
belly.
I bellied it in there. It was like there might have been, pull-ups and all these warning bells going off. I still managed to land it. It stayed in one piece. The screen didn't go black. That's a win.
Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, I managed some barrel rolls and some loop-the-loops in my little plane.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good fun. But yeah, look, I like it. Now that I was almost ready to write it off that first night, but then I tried again and I like it. It's good fun. It's not something I will excel at and spend too much time, but I'll go back to it every now and then and have a go.
Oh, I'm now getting at least another month of Game Pass just so I can play it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Next game for me is Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, we got back into that.
We got back into that, playing it on PC. So now I own it on everything, which is good. I still don't like that it doesn't have cross-platform progression.
Yeah,
they worked out how to do it with Destiny, and that would have been good just to load up everything that I had previously. But it doesn't take too long to unlock some of those original operators, so that shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, we got back into playing that with a few of the crew from the Discord channel, which was lots of fun.
Yeah, but always scary versing other people because that game's been around a long time and it's quite competitive. But when we're playing versus the AI, I really enjoy it because it's competitive, but it's doable.
Yeah, and that's when you're playing with mates, and that's all you really want to do. That's where it really excels with its fun. If you want to get in and get really competitive with it, you'll go and play against other players. But
yeah.
I've been out of it way too long. I don't know the maps; they've all changed. Like it's a lot to go on.
Just as long as you're not playing with Skrill, who thinks he's carrying a healing gun and shoots you when you've got 1 HP left and kills you. Rip Wraithy. Because I think the gun that he was using had like a name on it that was like the name of it was like the I don't know, it was like some sort of healing, or it was misleading where he thought it was a gun that would heal your teammates. I'm like, that'd be some amazing bullets in real life if that was a thing. But he just shot Wraith and he literally had 1 HP left. And, ended his run, but that was funny. We'll play that again.
Yeah, we'll definitely be playing that again. The last game I'm going to talk about is Quake 2 on the on the Steam store.
Yeah,
you can get a Quake 2 RTX demo.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah.
So I played that.
Yeah, how's it go?
You know what? It looks amazing, but it runs like shit.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, just not optimized.
Okay.
So there was lots of jittering. Like really, let's be honest, it's Quake 2, and I've upgraded the PC so it should destroy it. But yeah, lots of jittering, lots of screen tearing, but there wasn't options for locking the frame rates or anything like that. So,
okay.
But actually, visually with the ray tracing components, so reflections, light sources, the bounce of the light. Oh my god, it looked amazing in a game that's that old anyway. But it looks actually pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think apparently all that stuff was literally just by turning on ray tracing. I don't actually think they had to do anything to it. I think if that's
no, I don't think they actually did anything with it.
Yeah, I think it was more just a setting that they added to it, and it sort of automatically just makes everything look a little bit better.
Yeah, and let's be honest, like it's a 900 megabyte download, so there's not going to be any HD textures in it. There's not going to be much in it. It's just going to be very basic, but it looks pretty cool. So go and check that out. I think that's it for games, guys. Do you want to jump into the next bit?
What's that sound?
What's that sound? I've actually got it here this week. Highlighted, so don't forget it.
All right, let's do What's That Sound. Did you guys did you give the answer to the last one? I can't remember.
Yep.
You did?
Because it was the death sound for... Is that the right one?
The Last of Us? That was the week before. Yeah. That was the week before. It was actually this one. Remember that? Oh, you never got the newest one, says Marnikins. All right, so you didn't get this one because I was away last week when we should have given this answer away, so you just had to wait extra. So this was the actual sound. And for those that are still wondering, scratching your heads as to what that is, it's actually when you pick up an item in Resident Evil 4. If you cast your minds back, it was probably good like 3 weeks ago now. I actually made the comment that it was from a series and probably the most popular of the series, which I suppose could be debatable because I can't stand that game, but I never played it when it was new, and I tried it not too long ago, and I can't stand the controls. But anyway, well, look, like I said, it's debatable. Mardikin says Resident Evil 2 is the best, and I'd probably agree with that more than Resident Evil 4, but for some reason, RE4 has a ridiculous cult following. They even to the point where all of the RE4 nuts are campaigning to not have the game remade in the style of, how they've redone 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want it remade. They don't want them to do 4 next because 4's perfect the way it is.
All right, well, then.
I can't say I've ever played it.
I want them to redo 4 because that means because I didn't like the controls. So then obviously I'd probably enjoy 4. But anyway, this is the game where you've got a companion with you, a female companion. And if you climb up a ladder behind her, she's got a skirt on, and you look up with the camera, the female companion actually comments on it.
So that's why they don't want it remade.
Yeah, probably because they know they'll remove that.
They'll take that out. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that was the last What's That Sound we had, and I've got a new one for you. So have a look. Well, don't have a look. You won't be able to see anything. Have a listen to this week's What's That Sound. All right, so I'll let that one run for a little bit longer to give you a bit of a chance, but that's it. It's not actually a sound, I guess. It's more of a song, musical intro, if you will. So we've had a few suggestions so far: Battlestar, Duke Nukem, Galactica. What's Galactica? Do you mean?
I think he means Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica, no. Doom, no, it's definitely none of those. But it is, I can tell you that it's like the intro song, I guess. All right,
Yeah,
so
I know it. I can even picture it.
Wraithy wants me to play it again. I won't play all of it, but I'll play it again. What do you reckon? Does anybody know what it is? I don't know. I think it's a hard one. Turrican? No, I don't know what that is. It's not Unreal Tournament. We're getting some suggestions. This is the old shotgun approach again. Just say every game you can think of. The rate says Contra. No, it's not Contra.
There was a title. I think it was one of the Far Cry series where they did an offset. Blood Dragon.
Oh, yeah, good suggestion because of the old school kind of sound, but no.
No? Damn.
It is not. Pony Club, says Radicus. Is it one of the DOS games? Look, you know what? It probably was on DOS. It's not where I played it, but yeah, maybe. Possibly. I know the soundbite I got was from the version that I played as a kid.
Maybe Wing Commander.
It's not Wing Commander. All right, I'll give it a good loud playthrough again. All right, well, there you go. That's the sound for this week. It is not Descent, it's not Battletoads, it's not Castlevania, it's not Decent either.
It's not
and
Predator.
All of those other, it does sound a little bit Predatory-like, but no, it's not. But there you go. That's the sound. If you think you know what it is and you come up with it through the week after listening to the show, then you can come into our Discord channel, into the podcast general, pop your answer in there, and if you're correct, you will get a shiny, all to yourself, emoji. Yeah. Take that, Oprah. Ellen. Yeah. Oh, nobody got it. Oh well. I thought specifically one person who's listening right now would have got that one, considering. But no. Azrael, not Battle Chess. Not Sam Fox Strip Club, no. All right. Well, that's What's That Sound. We can move on.
All right, on to the news, guys. Big news this week. Over the weekend, there was the DC live event, FanFest.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Whatever
Some
it's
fan
called.
thing for DC people.
First of all, before we get into the games, the Wonder Woman 1984 extended trailer, wow, that looks absolutely brilliant. Then the fact that they released a whole lot more, well, still technically a teaser trailer, but 2 and a bit minutes of it, of the Batman. And I've got to say, I really liked it. I hope that no one changes the look of it because it's very dark. Robert Pattinson seems to work as Batman, and just the brutality of him.
Man, that part where he gives that dude the beat down, that sold it for me. When he was just like bashing him. Did you see I retweeted a tweet today where somebody had made a GIF of or video, where it was him beating the piss out of that guy, and then it had the Simpsons part where it's like, stop, he's already dead. Oh, it was so good. So I think it's going to be good, man. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these leaked movies, they look a little bit poxy and stupid when they're like before all the fancy stuff actually gets added to the movie, and then you see the actual final cuts, and you're like, oh, this is actually pretty good. They actually knew what they were doing. Yeah,
it's just the only thing that really worries me with a lot of movies, and especially like the superhero movies, is that, you know, the DC stuff was always darker than Marvel. It was just a completely different demographic.
So it should be.
Exactly how it should be. But, you know, when film executives get involved, we have the Justice League fiasco. Whereas, like, I enjoyed the Justice League movie, but, you know, the Snyder Cut that's coming out is going to go back to have that really dark sort of look.
But we had this conversation, I think, the other day, didn't we? And although I don't know, this is just speculation from a non-hardcore fan. Look, I love my Batman and all that, but I don't get deep into the politics behind all of that stuff. But I would suggest that it might not have been the studio that screwed with Justice League. It may have been the director change, because Snyder bowed out because he had a death in the family, and then it was taken over by Joss Whedon?
Joss Whedon. Yeah, and I like Joss.
That might have been the direction he wanted to take it, and he was now the man in charge. He was the director, so he may have changed it. I don't know. Uncle Chunt would probably be better to know, and same with Michael, my mate Michael, that knows all things DC. But I don't know, standing on the outside looking in, I'm thinking that might have been the case. And this one, the Batman, it looks dark and it looks brutal, and that's probably what it should be. So I don't think there'll be an issue. I mean, I don't foresee anything happening like the Snyder Cut fiasco, and I think they've probably learnt their lesson from that. But I think it looks great.
Yes, cannot wait. So what about the games that have been released? Do you want to kick it off with... Let's kick it off with Suicide Squad, because that's not due till 2022.
Yeah, so we got a glimpse at the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Now, we didn't see any gameplay, because this one's a long way off, which is sort of head scratcher as to why they showed us this in the first place, considering they already have another game that's coming out a lot sooner that actually has gameplay. But anyway...
Well, I think this comes from me mentioning it last week, where it had been hinted at, and I think they were just sort of... I think they were running with it. It had already been sort of leaked. So they're like, probably. All right, let's just own it.
Yeah. So, as you said, Snoogs, we're not going to be playing this game until 2022. And in the trailer that we saw, Rocksteady debuted 4 characters, being Harley Quinn, King Shark, Deadshot, and Captain Boomerang. The squad is located in Metropolis, which is currently being invaded by Brainiac and his alien minions, which are quickly revealed to have purple blood as the squad makes short work of them. Some of the stories that started in the Arkham games will continue in this upcoming release. So that's interesting. The stuff that... I guess it'll be sort of like some side tie-ins or whatever to the Arkham games, which is interesting. will sort of flow through into this one. But Rocksteady says that the game will be a blend of melee and gunplay, and each character will have a rich move set, which you can get a taste of in the trailer. One move is Deadshot being able to do a fuel dump from his jetpack to light enemies on fire, and the entire game can be played single player or as 4-player cooperative experience with friends. That sort of gives me a little bit of a shiver down my spine, because it makes me think of that Assassin's Creed Unity. I don't know, this kind of game with 4-player online, that's going to have some problems at the start, I'm predicting. So, I don't know, just this kind of game, and also Rocksteady, have they done co-op before? Like online co-op?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so, which is sort of, that's going to be a mess. But anyway, if you're playing in single player, you can switch between any character at any given time, which will be controlled by AI, like your companions. And when you aren't using them, they'll be AI. And we have a Brainiac-powered Superman as the ultimate villain, I would imagine there. So the trailer doesn't show any gameplay. It's all just sort of like a cutscene, and I don't even think it's an in-engine cutscene. It looks like a CGI one. But I don't know, the tone of it, and you probably can't take too much away from it, but just from what I saw, I'm feeling there's a little bit of Left 4 Dead crossed with Sunset Overdrive, sort of like a fast-paced, got to keep moving, gunfighting, melee combat kind of thing, which I think is probably a good idea, because I think both of those games that I mentioned are pretty good. But that's what we know about Suicide Squad. There's a bit more online. You can get some information watching the trailer, but I don't know. I guess it'll be good, but it's ages away, so we could probably put that in the back of our mind until we get a little bit closer. They'll give us more info.
I assume it'll have a lot of the Batman games DNA into it as well, so...
Yeah. Oh, look, I don't know. I think it's going to be completely different to the Arkham games. Whereas I think the next one we're going to talk about, Gotham Knights, I think is more the Arkham games DNA, although not connected with the actual Arkham games.
Yeah, so that one, of course, is Gotham Knights, and we got to see a little bit more of that. So they again did a CGI sort of reveal trailer, and then took us through some quick gameplay moments as well. So it was Batman's dead. He leaves the protection of Gotham has been handed over to the Knights, which is Robin, Batgirl, Nightwing, and I can never remember it is Red Hood.
Yep. Yeah, it's Red Hood, yeah.
Isn't Red Hood a bad guy?
Well, I think he kind of blurs the line. Yeah, anti-hero is probably a good word for him.
So he's another Deadpool. Cool.
No, not quite.
Yeah, without the mouth.
You get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He plays on the darker side of, vigilante.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, he plays in the bass for Batmetal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll leave this one to you, Luke. I think you've got a bit more info there.
In the gameplay, we see them using their special skills, and they vary in sort of different styles and degrees of violence. But the teaser begins with a recorded message, as you said, from Bruce Wayne. He's a lot older than he was in the Arkham games, and he has a grave message to report. He's essentially, the message is one of those typical ones where if you're seeing this, then I am dead. The Batcave has been destroyed, and Gotham's villains know all about it, so they're going to all run amok knowing that the Bat is gone. So it is your job, speaking to all of his Gotham Knights, to protect the city. And that's basically the storyline there. And then you go ahead and play what I feel is very, very close style gameplay to the Arkham series. However, there was a specific mention that the game's not connected. I don't understand this, because Batman at the start says that he's dead, but I'm guessing the storyline is completely separate. It's a different sort of world, although this one is more connected gameplay-wise to the old Arkham games. I don't know. It's a little bit confusing.
Yeah,
it's
a bit
still
confusing.
early on.
I thought it felt very Arkham style.
It did, yeah. Look, I mean, it was, you could play with stealth up in the rafters and jump down as Batgirl, or you can go in fist fighting and all that sort of stuff. But look, I think it'll be great. If it's similar to the Arkham games, it'll play good. Hopefully the story is strong like the other ones have been. But I'm guessing there's going to be an absence of the Joker, which has been a really strong staple of the series. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. That one's not too far away compared to Suicide Squad, but I'm keen for it. Looks good to me.
I must admit, the whole DC fandom that was shown off over the weekend was really quite good, and these games just highlighted that DC's really getting stuck into ramping up and using their characters properly, I think, which is good to see.
Yeah. What about Sunrise this morning? That tweet, it confused me at first. Good old Nelson Aspen jumps on Sunrise and goes, "Oh, there's a new Suicide Squad film being released, but not till later. Blah blah blah," and then shows the footage of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Talking about it being a movie. They think there's an animated movie coming out, and they called it a sequel to the Suicide Squad movie.
There is a Suicide Squad movie coming out.
Yeah, he's getting all this information confused.
Yeah. But then he shows the animated, the CGI animated Suicide Squad game.
This just shows you that it's someone that has no respect for the medium.
Yeah, well, that's it. And he has no right talking about it if he's got no interest in it. He's wrong.
He's got no interest in the medium, whether it be the movies or, the gaming medium as a whole. And, it kind of highlights, one of the things we were talking about yesterday with all this crap going on with Google and the ACCC and whatnot. This is why people... this is half the reason people don't go and pay for their news anymore, because it's wrong.
That's it. I mean, you get more accurate stuff watching a fanboy on YouTube because he knows what he's talking about.
Exactly.
But anyway.
All right. Grejio, this whole corona thing's, affecting some of us more than others. A lot of people have said, it'd be good when you can go out again and go out and have a meal and not have to worry about it. My choice is a Bunnings sausage.
Yeah.
Apparently, you can now have the Bunnings theme song in Beat Saber.
You certainly can. So someone has gone to the trouble of, one, finding the entire piece of music for the Bunnings Warehouse ad, because it's more than just what we hear on the ad. So they've found the entire piece of music, and then they've managed to get it put onto Beat Saber so you can play Beat Saber to the Bunnings Warehouse theme, which in my mind, I couldn't think of a greater hell. But
Beat Saber, you can actually put any song you want. On PC, you can use any song you like.
Yeah, but look, there's obviously a level of fandom for Bunnings, for the cult Bunnings followers that are just called for this. And look, props to you, way to use your spare time. But at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, fair enough.
What is the Bunnings? Do you mean like the Bunnings Warehouse?
Yeah, that
song.
Yeah, yep. There's more to it.
Bunnings Warehouse theme song. Here we go. All right.
Yeah, it was actually showcased by Nazy on YouTube. Last night or this morning.
Let's have a listen to it. Is this it?
Oh God, man.
Yeah, that's the one, isn't it?
That's definitely the one.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like all the songs to play on Beat Saber, that's like the most dad song, right?
Yeah.
Hey Dad, do you want to have a get crack of this? I'll put this on easy, and here play it to this rhythm. You can just dad dance to it. You should be right.
Dad dance to it.
Wow, good old Bunnings
God.
Warehouse. That didn't have the lyrics in it.
No,
I'll have to check it out. Yeah. Nazy does a lot of Beat Saber content, so I'll have to have a look at that. And Wraith has just put up. Apparently, Wildcat's done one as well, so he's always good for listening to someone rage and complain. If you're into that. Last bit of news that I've got is Microsoft throwing their 2 cents in. So Microsoft has come out today and backed Epic's request for a restraining order against Apple. Now, a restraining order against Apple is fairly harsh wording, I suppose you could call it. So Phil Spencer has today tweeted out, "Today we filed a statement in support of Epic's request to keep access to the Apple SDK for its Unreal Engine. Ensuring that Epic has access to the latest Apple technology is the right thing for gamer developers and gamers." Pretty much it's Microsoft saying that Apple should still be giving access to Epic in their development side of things, because Epic's Unreal Engine is used by so many different gaming developers, whether they be indie developers or bigger developers, both across all devices. So even stuff that's just released on iOS, a few of them actually run the Unreal Engine. So yeah, that's they're throwing their 2 bits in.
But this hasn't come out of nowhere. So Microsoft is having their own stoush with Apple at the moment over Project xCloud.
Yes.
So
Yeah, right.
So what's happened is Apple is saying pretty much Project xCloud's app will not be on the App Store, and the reason cited is that we have no way of reviewing the games that are sold on the platform. So no, you can't have access to it, right? Because we can't review the games you'll play on xCloud, and citing that it was the Apple Store was developed to be a safe space, and we don't have any way of manually checking what you're putting up on there. So no, Microsoft pretty much turned around and said, well, screw you. How's this any different to like Amazon Prime Video or Steam Link or anything like that, or any other medium where you can buy content and you haven't got a manual way of reviewing that, right?
Yeah.
And I agree, because while Steam Link is a little bit different, is the only reason it gets through is because you actually can't buy games through Steam Link. So therefore, they're not. That's the loophole. Because they're not selling a game on that link. You're not playing any game that isn't unreviewed. You're only playing what you've already got on your library. But the stupid thing is, there's a Steam mobile app which you can buy the games through to play on your Steam Link, right?
Yes, correct.
And look, we've already talked about this year some of the horrific gutter trash that you can play on Steam that is now available through Steam Link, which you've all bought. You could quite easily buy through Apple Store's processes, right? So it's a whole
which you can
point.
Play on your phone.
Exactly.
The Steam Link thing, yeah.
All right. So, not to mention that the App Store itself isn't exactly the pinnacle of moral standing with the amount of gaming and lewd shit that's in that. So, I think Apple is. I think the reality is Apple's being a bit of a bitch. So they're turning around saying, "Well, these things are going to cut into our market and just hinder our ability to have Apple Play out there in the real space." And I think they're just being bitches.
I think then what happens then is that Apple starts to lose market share as people want these features but know that they can't get it on an Apple, and they switch across
to an iOS.
To Android.
Oh yeah, the Android. Sorry. Yeah.
So then they lose out more ways than one. So I think if they have enough time to think this over and come to some sort of agreement with Microsoft, then they may change their tune. But if they continue down this path, I'll tell you now, I will disown them. As much as I don't want to, because I'm very well stuck within their ecosystem. Apple Watch, iPads, family members have got all the same things. Mm-hmm. But if this keeps going over the next couple of years and nothing gets better and more and more things get denied and I can't have them on my iPhone, then I won't I won't have an iPhone. I'll move across to an Android device because it used to be to the point, and it's changing lately, but it used to be a thing where Apple got everything, and it was the Androids that either had to wait or they didn't get support, right? Mm-hmm. And that was what I liked about Apple, as well as the other reasons why I'm with Apple. But if that starts to shift and Apple's missing out on more and more and more things that I really find valuable and want, then I'll ditch them. And, if I'm doing it, a lot of people will.
No, I'm the same.
That, a lot of people will ditch them a lot quicker than you will.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest reasons why I'm still with using iPhone is because of the ecosystem. I've got all my accounts set up. I've bought apps on there. I've got the watch that goes with the phone, and it's a brilliant piece of tech. The Apple Watch, the AirPods, and all the stuff that I've got that integrates with the iPhone just works so great. And the phone is good for me and what I want it to do. But it feels like that's going downhill, and if it continues to go downhill, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I'm definitely an Apple person. I'm definitely in the same situation in that ecosystem. But yeah, these are the kinds of things where I'm just like, well, if this is how you're going to play it, then
yeah, I'm the furthest thing from an Apple fanboy. I definitely am not an Apple iPhone user because I love Apple. I don't. I think Apple are atrocious. It's the only product that the iOS, I think, is the best product they do. So the phone, the iPad, and the watch, that's like the computers. They are the dumbest piece of shit that I've ever seen. The laptops and the desktops, they're garbage. But yeah, that's the only reason I like it is because of the product. The company, no, I have no allegiance to them whatsoever.
All right. Well, in that case, in a little while, I'll just say welcome to the dark side. I'll make sure I've baked some cookies.
But yeah, it'd be a hard choice to change. Like, what do you get? There's like thousands of new bloody Android phones every year.
Yeah,
what's a good one?
You know what? I've dabbled in Android phones, and you keep coming back to the pinnacle. You either look at the Google Pixel or the Samsung. If you want just that raw Android experience, then you look at the Google Pixel. If you want the premium phone, then it's a Samsung. There's a lot of other phones out there that are in that sort of premium league, and they've got looks and they've got good features, but at the end of the day, the Samsung I've come back to it, and I cannot fault. I've got the Note 10 Plus, and I cannot fault it. So it's just yeah, it's
does the controller work on your phone yet? I know you couldn't get your controller connected.
No, I don't think it's the Xbox One doesn't work. The PlayStation One does, or other way around. Either. Yeah. One of them works and one of them doesn't. But
that's the another issue. Like, I've tried the ROG phone, the Asus one, and I couldn't get any controllers. Even the controller that it shipped with, I couldn't get that to work properly with the bloody thing. So that's another thing that I'm sort of iffy about, is knowing things are going to work, and it's hard to go, yeah, all right, I'll get that phone. You're going to be stuck with it if you're on a plan for 2 years. Even if it's garbage, that's going to be a miserable couple of years.
Exactly. But for me, I'm not going to be playing a lot of stuff on my phone, so I don't need to worry about that. But that's it for all the news, guys. Let's jump into the last words. So, a quick shout out to our live listeners. We've got Azrael, Kaz, Martikins, Radicus, and the Wraith. Thanks as always, guys, for hanging about. It's always the same names comes up each week. So thank you, as always. You guys are great to have around. Last words, Lucas.
Yeah.
Now, I know you sent me that your last words was going to be penis.
Yeah, I've written a handwritten note about the Engage story.
Tell us your Engage story.
All right. Now, I feel like I may have told this story on the podcast before, but I'm not sure, and it may have been many, many years ago. seems like this show has been running for a long time. Actually, we're probably 8 years.
Yeah.
I think 8 years this year.
8 years where's it gone? Yeah.
It's been going for. But anyway, I got a story about the Nokia N-Gage. I think Radica's brought it up earlier in the week, and I said something along the lines. I've got a story, but remind me and I'll tell it on the podcast. It's a lot easier than typing it out. But I actually had a Nokia N-Gage, but I didn't get it by the conventional means.
Strip dancing. What?
No. Actually, it was
smuggling with your butt.
probably, like, I was much younger, because I don't know how long ago the Engage came out, but I was probably late teens when that came out. And the way I came about having one of those was not 100% legal. Now, I don't actually think I realised this at the time, because I'd like to think that I would have done the right thing had I thought. But I was at a petrol station, and I was filling up my car, and I think I drove over to the air, the air pump thing to put air in my tyres.
Yep.
And sitting on top of the air pump was a Nokia N-Gage. And I've picked it up, and I'm like, oh, somebody's left this here. And I think I went into the shop and asked some, people in the store, is this yours? Is this yours? No, it's not mine. So whoever had left it there had already gone. So I kept it. And I took it home, and I set it all up. I think I must have just erased whatever person's details were in it. This is horrible. I was such an arsehole.
You took them out to Anchorhead and got their memories erased.
And set it all up, and then I had a look, and the games were like $20 each. And I think I just got a couple of demos, because I'm like, I'm not paying for this. This is...
You went and put it back on the air thing.
So anyway, I downloaded a couple of demos and played some games. I'm like, this thing is garbage. So I put it on eBay and sold it for about $300. And I think Martikins or Skrill bought it, because I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves me right, that it was somebody in Perth that bought it. I'm like, are you serious? Postage, like, all the way to the other side of the bloody country. But yeah, I sold it to someone in WA anyway. So that was my experience with the Nokia N-Gage. I essentially stole one, because that's classed as stealing, even if you find it. I should have handed it into the police station, but I didn't. But there's a statute of limitations on stealing, which I believe is 12 or 24 months. So I'm in the clear.
Yes.
Seriously, 24 months?
Yeah.
Wow.
Back then, I think it's still classified as finding.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you just have to hide your shit for 24 months, and then you're good.
Yeah, well, it does depend on the value of...
Yeah, I was going to say, there's got to be a value of it.
With something of that kind of value is just a typical stealing. But if it's like a car or something...
Hope Diamond, yeah.
That's a different piece of legislation then.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen you for 2 years. Oh, you got a new car. Where'd you get that from? I found it. Where'd you find it? Fuck off.
So I'm all clear for that one. But I blame it on my youth. I didn't make some great decisions when I was younger, and that was one of them. That was mean.
None of us did.
Yeah, that's right. Some of us are still doing stupid things.
Yeah. Some of us just get older. Last bit of new words from me. I have upgraded my PC. A big thank you to yourself, Lucas, for helping me put all the new bits and pieces in together.
Seriously, it was my pleasure. That's why I'm glad I was underneath a desk, because I was hiding my boner.
I've gone from a 6 or 7 minute boot up sequence to a 9-second boot up sequence.
That was painful.
So
you were going to lose your mind.
Oh, that was. I turn it off randomly just to turn it back on,
just to see how quickly it
just to see how quick it goes. I've been absolutely blown away by it. So I've upgraded to an SSD, swapped out the Gen 1 Ryzen 5 CPU for a Gen 3, and also swapped from a 1050 Ti graphics card to a 2070 Super.
Yeah. So
it's a
your computer is probably it's like the guy at the shop said, it's probably somewhere between a 5 to 6, maybe even 7 times more powerful than what you were using before.
Yes. It's quite nice. Quite nice.
Running everything at 1080, you won't be changing any settings off Ultra. Marnikins, the only thing not changed was RAM and motherboard. Well, technically you did change the RAM because your RAM was running at less than half the advertised speed because whoever built your computer the first time round installed RAM that was not compatible with the current BIOS for that motherboard. That BIOS was probably out of date when you bought it, and the RAM that was put in there was running at a little bit over 1,000 megahertz, even though it was 2,400 megahertz RAM. So the incompetent whoever that installed that didn't even do it right. There was a couple of mistakes that I caught in my messing with it yesterday that shouldn't happen from when you buy a computer from a computer shop and they build it for you. That stuff should be done. That's what you're paying for. Yeah, because
I gave them a list and said just build it for me because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, and I don't think they did either.
But now, even like it, I had an absolute ball. Like I am so glad that you were there with me.
Such a rewarding thing knowing that PC, I built that. And also, there's no better way to understand how a PC works and the intricate workings of it than doing it yourself, because it all starts to make sense when you get hands-on with it. Not to mention that thermal paste that turned into chalky glue.
That was on the old one.
That was so hard to get off the older CPU. You had to use a screwdriver to pry it off.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Kind of reminiscent of like a PS3, a 10-year-old PS3.
Pulling that thing apart, yeah. It's it's actually got less fans than it had previously. So my old case had 7 fans, and this one's got 4.
Yeah, but what I would say, probably the difference in the sound is that the older one was probably a lot more enclosed. This one probably breathes a lot better.
This one is very open. Yeah,
it gives you a lot of sound leak, so you will hear the fans a bit more. But look, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of fan sounds because it's never going to be anything like a PS4. So that's not a big issue because we did some thermal testing once we got the computer up and running. We stress test the CPU and the GPU. CPU didn't. What was the max the CPU got up to? Like
74.
So yeah, so that
75 degrees.
That was fine. This is air cooled, stock cooler, and the GPU I think was like down to like 65. So the cooling in that motherboard is very adequate. Sorry, in the case I should say is very adequate. So it's a good PC, very good hardware you got in there. That's going to be a front runner for a few years for you. You'll enjoy that.
So so that was my little present for me. That was good. All right. Any other last words? Did we say it was happy birthday? Did we say it was your birthday?
No. I don't think we did. Well, happy birthday. It was Snoogs' birthday yesterday.
It was.
Thank you.
Happy love day, bro.
Thank you very much. It was a good day, actually. I got lots of phone calls, lots of video chats. Your crazy little ones, Greg.
Yeah. Oh, they were all over the place. They were all sorted before we rang, and then all of a sudden, all over.
Oh my god!
I didn't play you my happy birthday song.
Snoogs.
Oh god. Well, thank you, boys. Yes, that was
No
beautiful.
worries, man. I had a good day. I hope you did too.
I did.
Oh, I know you did. I think you thanked me probably about 7 times through the day for helping you do that.
Yeah, because I would have been lost.
That's all right, man. Loved it.
Any other last words, boys?
No, that's it for me. Penis.
No. Except for the fact that Rafi uses my face way too much in that face swap thing. And it's freaky. Seriously,
He uses your face.
Yeah, that Harley Quinn is me. Can't you tell? So freaked.
Oh, I don't think
I looked at it and I just went, oh my God, what's he done? And how does that thing work so well? That's creepy.
It does work well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yep. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to show my wife that one. She's going to think that's, yep.
Oh, she's going to love it.
It was beautiful.
All right, well, some other plugs. Aussie Gamers TV and Snooger Vision over on Twitch. Make sure you come and say g'day and hit that follow button so you know when we go live. And Grejio XBL over on the Instas, because that's how the cool people say it.
Good old
So they
Instas.
tell me. So they tell me.
Yep.
So you
All right,
should
that's
be
it.
saying it, dude.
Yeah, I know. All right, well, let's close it up. Thank you very much to everyone that's listened to the show, and especially those that are still listening this far along. Don't forget to continue any of the topics we've discussed on this show over in our Discord channel or hit us up via our socials. While you're at it, hit up our website, www.theagexp.com. Links, as always, are in the podcast show notes and descriptions. And that's all from me. As always, I am Snoogs.
I'm Lucas.
And I am Iron Man.
I am so glad you went with that. Yes.
Bye-bye, dude. Ooh, once again, we have reached the end of another week in gaming. And if you've listened all the way up until this point of the show, then there's a good chance that you're a perfect fit for the Age XP Discord channel. And you can join by using the links in the show description. Once you've joined, you will find yourself within a community of amazing people who are all interested in one thing, and that's gaming. You can also join in live while we record the show and have your say. Now, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you'll be notified when the next episode is available for your listening pleasure. Until next time, take care, be safe, and keep on gaming.